Okay, so we're getting a signal here. Today, boys and girls, I want to record guitars with no other than NOLLY Getgood. Him being the guitarist, me being the engineer. We're going to dial in a high gain guitar tone from scratch, and we're going to record a couple of nice riffs. How cool is that? As you might remember, Nolly and me did a masterclass at this year's Guitar Summit in Mannheim 1 month ago. This was a 4.5 hour long live event where we talked about everything we feel is important for getting great high gain guitar tones in the studio. So we talked about the performance, the instrument, the pickups, but also about the speakers and microphones and mic positions and cabinets and all that kind of stuff, and went deep into several guitar tone rabbit holes. What you are about to watch is a small part of that live event where we dialed in a guitar tone and we really focused on finding the right settings on the tube amp. Before we get started, let me just tell you this. If you want to watch more of this, you can, because we have added a big chunk of that masterclass into my Academy Kohler audio cult. I think almost 2 hours, way shorter than the whole live event, but still really entertaining and nice to watch. So join the Academy if you want to watch more. I'll tell you a little more about that by the end of this video. Let's talk about the gear we used. So Nolly played his signature guitar from Manson Guitars. From there we went into a standard Ibanez Tube Screamer, and from there we went into a really interesting amp that I feel is a little underrated. I'm talking about the Engel Artist Edition, an amp that has really grown on me. I think the first time I used it was 3 years ago in Los Angeles at Warren Hewitt's studio. That amp has a really nice uncompressed distortion, a nice low end, some cool shaping options, but it's also easy to dial in. So every time I used it, I got some really, really cool results out of it. And I just feel it's a little underrated or under the radar of a lot of people compared to the more famous Engel amps like the Savage or the Special Edition. Really cool amp, and that's what we decided to use in this example. We could not use a real cabinet in that room, that would have been way too loud. So we went into a load box from Fryette, and from there we went into the computer, into my laptop, through my Audient Evo 16 interface. And in the DAW, I loaded an IR player, an IR plugin from GGD, the first time I was using that. Nolly's company, the Cali cabinets, which is a collection of IRs from different Mesa 4x12 cabinets captured with different microphones. Really cool plugin, check it out. There are links to all the gear that we used below, by the way, in case you are interested. So let's fly over to Mannheim and let's get started.
My idea is I'm going to get Kristian to basically produce me. So like Kristian can talk through maybe what it's like to track a guitarist based on me tracking guitars to this.
Just play for a second.
But he doesn't know that that's what I want him to do.
Okay,
so
I'm not listening. Okay, so we're getting a signal here. I'm not getting a signal here. What kind of cab do you want?
just leave it on the default, the massive.
Okay. So first of all, I think we've got a switch called scoop or something that you might want to press. That one, yeah. What's better, the loud one or the quiet one? Listen again. Honky, right? It kind of sounds cooler because it feels like, hey, it's louder, but it's only louder. Actually, we're adding a lot of lower mid honky tonk. I think we should go to the other setting. Yeah. How do you feel about the gain?
The gain's feeling maybe a bit too much.
Yeah.
Maybe I might cut it a little bit on here, actually.
Okay, okay.
So I might just turn down the level a touch on the Tube Screamer.
Better. Now let's just listen to what the equalizer can do, and maybe Nolly can also say a few words about that. Let's just start with the bass knob.
So one thing about a bass knob, all of you guys should know, the bass knob on amp is just a high pass filter. Like just, it's not never adding bass, it's just the cutoff, okay? So
Passive filters in general, like on most amps, can't add anything. They're just taking something away, basically. Yeah. So where are we now? 1 o'clock. Back to 1 o'clock. Mids. Now here it gets interesting because this is a matter of taste, I guess.
Yeah.
So these are nice mids, like pretty low sitting, nice usable mids actually. Some amps really sound honky.
yeah, to me, like when you're blending in the Grindstein track, you're adding a lot of mids, and I'm wondering if for this, which is a bit more rock, maybe we'll stick to a single tone,
Yeah.
but maybe have a bit more mids on the amp.
Let's see how much we want. This is full power. 12, what is 12 o'clock? So this sounds more metal and more scooped and more brutal, but also a little boring maybe. So more mids. And it also brings down out the gent a little more, right? Is it too much gain now because we've added? Yeah.
I'm going to turn it down a touch more. Can you turn the gain down a little bit on the amp?
Because if you boost the EQ, you actually might reduce the gain again. Now I want this to be a little brighter. The question is, do we want the treble or the presence? Let's try both. Not too different, surprisingly. Very often the presence is way higher than the treble. How do you feel?
I think I like it a little bit darker, actually.
Okay.
On these headphones, anyway. Maybe a bit more than that.
Yeah, but which one? Try the treble. More?
That's nice.
Yeah. And where's the presence now? At 11. Push it a bit more, see if we can get a little more grind. Remember that we're listening to the guitar solo, so in the mix, usually you maybe need a little more definition.
Should we try recording it?
Let's just try. Let me just turn off the guitars here. And we're getting a signal. I kind of like it on the open stuff. I think on the palm mutes it's maybe a little too...
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I really like the distortion on this amp because we also tried the special edition, which is also a great amp, but this one is less compressed in a nice way. Yeah, it feels like a little... Just try to get rid of some bass. Mid-range too thick a little bit?
I like it for this style, I think.
Okay. Now we've got some lead guitars. Lead guitars coming in. Let's see how that...
I'll play lead with this tone.
I just smile because it's a very good all-around tone, because sometimes the rhythm tones sound a little brittle and cold for some of this. You go like...
Yep.
But it actually works for everything.
I will say, like, in dialing in this guitar as well, with the pickups and everything, the idea was that it had this rich mid-range, and it's not super scrapey and thin sounding, particularly so that when you go to play leads, it still feels really kind of rich and harmonically cool.
Right now I felt if I was doing like a real sound check, I was like, okay, now we've got like one cool option that could actually work for everything.
Sure.
Like on the more rock stuff, on the open chords, it still has like enough nice chunky mid-range. The palm mutes are tight enough. It's not overly brutal. So let's record the song, right? It's interesting because it looks more compressed than it sounds to me right now. I was a little surprised, like, wow, that's a nice sausage.
Well, it's also coming through the load box, so you don't have the low-end resonance coming off the cab.
That's right.
Yeah. So double track it?
Yes. Go. I really like how this sounds double-tracked. Would you do a difference in sound between left and right now, like changing the... Let's just try that.
Yeah, go for
it. Just, which one should I go for? Like different mic, different cab? What do you
Try
think?
the thick cab and maybe make the mic position a little bit darker on that one.
Okay, so that is, we're changing the right side now. Compare that with what we had before. I can hear that having the same signal on both sides has a thicker low end, but having this cabinet, this one right here, sounds a little wider, but a little thinner.
Very quickly do the last 4 bars.
Yes.
Because that's more of a metal riff.
Here I would go for something a little more aggressive, like pushing some presence maybe, and more presence. A little more precision in the palm mids. Right. One more time, please.
Yep.
Big difference for me. Please double.
Yep.
Thank you. Now let's quickly compare the tones.
That's very
more
different.
rock.
Yeah.
And this sounds more 5150. But it suits the part. I really love the first tone on this one. So you see, this sounds really different to this. And all we did was slightly tap the presence knob.
Yep.
Pretty big difference. So don't be afraid of doing that in a song. If you feel like this riff needs this, the other riff needs that, then I'm sure maybe you play it a little differently as well.
Yeah, this is first take. I would love to have like dialed in the palm mute position and got comfortable and everything, so the performances aren't quite.
We have 1 more minute.
1 more minute. All right, cool. No, we don't.
I think, that's all we got for you today. I gotta interrupt you here. I'm sorry. If you wanna watch more of this event, you can. All you gotta do is join my academy. We've put like almost 2 hours of content from that masterclass into the academy, which is still way shorter than the actual event, but it's a lot and it's really entertaining. If you join the academy, you also get all our other courses that we have ever released, including the Nolly Drum Experience, a 3 or 4 hour long course about recording and mixing drums from Nolly, and there are free IRs, free plugins, free samples, and you become a part of a wonderful community. So join Cola Audio Call. I think for the next 3 or 4 days, we still have a sale going, 33% off the membership. You better join now. That's all for today. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so we can meet again, and to ring the bell. By the way, as you might see, I'm not in my studio. Any ideas where I could be? Looks different, right? Leave a comment. Let me know where I am. I'll reward the funniest comment with something cool. I promise. I see you in hell, motherfuckers. Bye-bye.